with that.
Right. So going back like to life and mixing it in with the business, how hard or easy was it to balance your family life versus your business life?
Very.
Very easy or very hard?
Very, very challenging.
Very challenging.
Very challenging. You know, I was married, and it was one of those things where I felt, in hindsight, right, like being married and being in this business and being young, and it's like, you know I didn't have the tools. Like being in that kind of commitment and being a father of 4 kids, it's very challenging. Period. I hats off to everybody that does it, and I always tell people I feel like my marriage was a success. Right? It's like it yielded what it was supposed to yield. It made us better people. But I think work in marriage is could be a tough balance in any profession.
Right.
Our business is particularly harder because it lends itself to the temptations of a man. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, just forget the time. Right? Forget the time spent apart, right? Like I haven't seen you in a month, whatever. Just forget that. Just the temptations of a man is just there. So it's challenging.
So how do you deal with, I don't know if I want to call it a disappointment because you said you're no longer married, but how do you deal with what you experienced in the marriage, and how have you taken that and used it now in the second portion of your life?
I don't know if I have.
Really?
Listen, the beautiful part about life is that it's like an ongoing process, right? It would sound good to say, I was married and I've learned that, you cannot get.
Right.
I still mess up. I've had relationships then, blew those. Yeah. Right? It's just the thing that we work with, and we hope that, I guess as a man, I could only say that in a practical sense, there was key things that I took away, right? So in that sense, right? But in the overall sense of being in a relationship, I'm still learning about that.
I don't think you can ever just know how to be in a relationship because everybody's different. Every situation is different. Everybody's going to take certain situations differently. How one person may react to one thing, another person may not. So
yeah, and also I would add that how we are is always changing, and evolving. And relationships bring up, for most human beings, relationships bring up our deepest fears, because that kind of intimacy is we don't get taught how to be with that, right? As most of us, we don't grow up, and most of our parents didn't teach us how to honor your emotions, right? It's like, shut up and sit down, And
I love you or I don't.
Right, it's like, you did this so I love you, you didn't do that so I don't love you. And then we take that into adulthood and we project that on other people, right? So, one of my inspirations in the self-help world, Byron Katie, she says it so, she has the line, she says, personalities don't love, they want something. Right? Because I'm dealing with your personality, you're dealing with my personality, and personalities don't love, they want something. I want something from you, and when I don't get that, I don't love you anymore. Right. Simple.
So you think.
Right. So you think. So we're always, I'm always involved in that. I'm 41 or 2. I think my mother lied on my birth certificate to get me to work. My kids call me Benjamin Button. But at this age, I'm still learning.
So how has it affected your relationship with your kids?
They understand that you can love somebody and not be with them. And if they can grow up knowing that, then why not?
Right.
It's worth it, right? Like I have 3 daughters and a son. One thing that they're clear about is that life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were married and we're not, and like I can keep it moving.
You still do what you do.
Yeah, and still love that person. It doesn't go away.
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't, and they've seen that.
Yeah, me too. I came from my parents divorced when I was about 12 years old, but they're like the best of friends, you know, and I was able to see that you don't have to be with somebody just because you have kids. You guys can be adults and actually raise those children in a proper manner that they do understand.
Yeah, exactly.
That life does go on.
It does. It really does.
It does.
And they got clear about that, and from that, they'll figure out what they want their experience to be
and what not to do when they get there.
Yeah. I love that part of it. It's great to me.
It's real though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it would be the all-American story to say, you know, and I've learned, and my kids, and it's not real for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no judgment around it. You know, I tell people, listen, I got an ex-wife, 2 babies' mothers. Like, and I love all of them. And my kids have had the honor and the blessing of being raised in a way that these women love on these 4 kids. Like they got like, all of them got like 3. Like they can go to my ex-wife can go to my daughter's mother. And to me, why not? God forbid if I got called home tomorrow, and I know my kids would be okay, because that's the love that is between us.
Well, as a man, how does that make you feel, knowing that, because you know I hate to see men belittle their kids' mothers, and I hate to see females belittle, you know, their kids' dads, and I'm like, there's gotta be a breaking point to that somewhere that you gotta see eye to eye. Like, you don't have to always agree, but
or not.
Yeah, you know, but it's always supposed to be the best interest of the kids, and for you to say that, you know, if you get called home tomorrow, you know your kids will be fine, that means so much to me as a mother, you know, because I also enjoy the relationship that me and my child's father have, and I feel the same exact way. So to hear you say that is just like, wow. So now y'all know it really does exist. You know, it doesn't always have to be a hatred thing.
Because most human beings, to be able to love in that kind of way is actually challenging for most human beings. So it doesn't surprise me. Because most of the human beings don't have our best interest from the highest perspective.
Right. It's that personality thing.
Right. So if I don't know that my best interest is actually the best interest of the kids, then there's no way that I can have the best interest of the kids. It's impossible. We missing a step, and we miss a step when we look to love another person, and we haven't found that love within ourselves. We actually literally miss a step. And whenever you miss this step, it's impossible to put the kids first, because you're out of the equation, and we can never remove ourselves from the equation. And that isn't the politically correct thing to say, right? But the reality is that when you remove yourself from the equation, in my experience, when I remove myself from the equation, it is impossible to have the best interest of the kids first. It's impossible. So, of course, if you're my baby's mother and I'm like not connected, then I'm looking at you like I hate you, and you're not gonna see all of that. But when it's like, wow, you know, imagine what a gift it is, right, to be a parent. Why deny that because me and you aren't getting along?
Exactly.
It doesn't even serve me. So again, take the kid out of it, right? It doesn't even serve me. So what am I really getting out of it? It's weird. I was blessed. My mother got me real clear about that early on.
Shout out to mom and grandma.
Women.
And who said women can't raise a man? Come on now. Prime
They
example.
doing not so bad themselves.